What's up, everybody? This is Aztec 101 in the ring. The Manny Pacquiao Timothy Bradley fight is about to start, so I decided maybe I should do a prediction video. Um, so I'm gonna try to do one real quick. I guess so you guys can know where I'm coming from. This is my perspective of both fighters. Uh, I've seen the Manny Pacquiao versus Timothy Bradley one. Their first fight. I've seen it probably 3, 4 times now. Okay. Um, the first time I saw it with the sound off, and I scored it a tie, and I think it was a lot of people are recommending that you watch this fight with the sound off, and I understand why. The announcers were kind of getting out of hand. Um, they were calling shots that weren't landing. Um, and they were using words like saying that Pacquiao was dominating in a very close fight. So yeah, I understand why there's people out there recommending that you watch the fight with the sound off, but I don't recommend it at all. Uh, it takes away one of your senses. When you watch the fight, if you're paying close attention, you can hear the punches. And if there's a punch that lands and it lands flush, you'll know, especially if you're listening. So when I watch the fight, I like to listen to the punches, and I got a better perspective on who was hitting harder, who was really landing their shots, who was more effective, because they were both busy. And after I watched the fight, a few more times, the other times I've scored the fight, I've clearly seen Pacquiao win. Um, and no matter how much I like Bradley, and I've wanted, maybe that's probably what influenced me to score it a draw the first time I saw it. Um, but I can't help but give the fight to to Pacquiao. It was, and here's why. I think that even if you set aside knowing that Bradley had the injury to his feet, whether he twisted or rolled his ankle in the ring, um, taking that aside, taking aside that punches were missed, I still believe that if no matter how you decide to score, whether it's you look at ring generalship, you look at, which you should be looking at everything, but whether it is that you look at ring generalship, who land the harder punches, who was more accurate, who was more effective, who was busier, who was in control. I mean that's key, and I felt the majority of those rounds, Pacquiao was in control. He landed the harder punches. He was busier. Uh, um, he was exhibiting ring generalship. Bradley too. I mean, it was a close fight. This isn't a shutout fight, in my opinion. Those rounds that I scored to Pacquiao, a well placed shot from Bradley, a clean right hand, or him rushing in and landing a sick combination could steal the round. It's that close. So this was a very close fight, but I couldn't help but score it towards Pacquiao. Um, and every time I watch it, I just see more and more. I'm more convinced that Pacquiao won the first fight. Um, but if you think Bradley won the fight, I'm not mad at you. There's no point in arguing. I don't really think that the first fight is going to dictate this fight. I think this fight is in a different scenario. Both of these fighters are in different places, and I think it's a different situation. And there's things that we got to look at and acknowledge that mentally Bradley's in a better place. They both have something to prove. Uh, Physically, Pacquiao is now older. Um, he's been knocked out since that fight. I mean, there are so many things to consider. A prediction video for this is why I've been dreading it, is because it's so hard. It's kind of it's really difficult. It really is, because if you really think about it and you want to be critical, um, you can give this fight to either fighter and make it make sense, because they've proven they can do it. You know, Bradley has proven that he can, no matter what the odds are, no matter how, you know, the odds are against him, he can still pull through with the victory. You know what I mean? He's proven that. And we all know what Pacquiao can do. We know, we've seen it. He's done this to great fighters. He's done this to bigger fighters, fighters with tough chins, and he's done this before. So we know what he can do. It's just a matter of who's going to execute their game plan, and who's going to be in control in this fight. I have Pacquiao winning this fight. Um, Not by knockout. Not by knockout, even though it's highly possible. I truly believe this fight will go 12 rounds. Um, I think that Bradley is really a tough fighter to knock out. No one has knocked him out yet, so it's very hard to predict that he will get knocked out in this fight. Now, a stoppage, that's really likely. Definitely a stoppage. I can agree to that, but a KO, I don't really see that happening. If anything, it goes 12 rounds. The reason why I have Manny Pacquiao winning this fight is because I really believe that, seeing him at weigh-in, he doesn't look bulky, doesn't look too muscular. Looks like he's been training to just be really fast and throw a lot of punches, and I think he's training for all 12 rounds. So, in my opinion, I believe that he's going to be able to outland Bradley, and I think Bradley's going to have an uphill battle. He's not a heavy-handed dude, and he doesn't hit hard. Um, One of the things that I really did like when I saw his training, what his training camp was doing, I saw him working on his 1-2s. Just very simple, very basic, 2-punch combinations. And I think that will probably be his key to victory. Countering Pacquiao and trying to catch him come in with heavy 1-2s, possibly knocking him out. Instead of throwing a flurry of 3, 4, 5 punches that aren't going to do anything, if he lands heavy, clean shots, whether they do damage or not, as long as the judges can notice them and they're noticeable, I think he can definitely take those rounds with those shots, and that's a great strategy. I just believe that Pacquiao's going to come in and he's going to try to be aggressive, and I think Bradley, on the other hand, like I said, there's a lot of circumstances. I don't know mentally how that'll take a toll on them when they get in the ring. They can very easily just see each other and throw their game plan out the window and just start fighting. I don't know what's going to happen. If it turns into a boxing match and it stays on the outside, then I can definitely see myself being wrong in the fact that I'm predicting the Pacquiao to win. If it stays on the outside, if it turns into a Bradley Marquez fight, then yeah. But I think Bradley was able to dominate Marquez through most of those rounds because Marquez is a counter puncher. He doesn't really come in and attack the same way that Pacquiao does. Pacquiao will attack, apply pressure, move around you, turn you constantly, which is probably why Timothy Bradley injured his feet in the first fight. Um, if it happened then, it can happen again. I feel that Bradley's balance is very suspect. Um, he takes a lot of damage. He gets hit. I mean, his defense is yeah, his defense is okay. I mean, but I believe that Bradley walks. He walks into punches. He doesn't really when he's not. If you're not throwing a punch, he's not moving his head. He only moves his head when you throw the punch. He's not bobbing and weaving and mixing his head movement with his feints. So you have a difficult target. He kind of stays in one place, and if he sees the punch coming, he moves out of the way. But because he's really fast, he gets away with it most of the time. I just think that just like in the first fight, I think in this fight it's going to be very difficult for him to predict when Pacquiao is going to throw his left hand. And if Pacquiao does land that left hand, it's not a matter of whether he gets knocked out or hurt. It's just a matter of those punches are going to be noticed by the judges, and that can easily be what takes the round. Um, like I said, this is a very close fight, a very close fight. It was a very close fight the first fight, and I think that this is still considerably a 50-50 fight to predict. Um, I I wouldn't put a favorite here. I really wouldn't. I'm just predicting Pacquiao to win this fight only because I'm assuming that uh, they are just going to put on a better performance than last time. And in my opinion, I've seen a better Pacquiao. I think Pacquiao can do. There's he can do better. He definitely can. We've seen it before. I think he can be much more aggressive. I think he can throw many more punches. I think he can land harder punches. I think he can keep up and he can be faster, even at his age. Timothy Bradley, a better version of him. I think he can be smarter. So in this fight, I think he will be he can be. I don't. But that's the question still remains. Is what's their game plan? How are they going to come in? What mindset are they going to have? Um, I favor Pacquiao in a very close fight. I think that Bradley definitely has he can win this fight. He can. He can. Um, he can definitely win this fight if he decides to try to land the cleaner shots. Just trying to land those clean shots. He's fast. He's really, really fast. Um, Arguably, in my opinion, I think he could be as fast, or even if he tries to, he can be faster than Pacquiao. And by that, I mean the entire package. I don't just mean hand speed. I mean the whole package. His head movement, he can move really, really fast. Pacquiao, just the thing with Pacquiao is he's constantly moving. That's the thing with Pacquiao, is that he's constantly moving. Whether you're swinging at him or not, he's moving his head. Whether you're turning him or not, he's gonna find angles and he's moving around you. Bradley reacts. He moves when you do something. So if you swing, he'll move his head. If you step, he'll step. Um, I just think that Pacquiao is a little bit more unpredictable. He's very unpredictable, and that's what makes him dangerous. I got Pacquiao winning in a very close fight. This is Aztec 101 in the ring. You guys tell me what you think. Um, Let me know. Do you think Pacquiao is going to win? Do you think Bradley's going to win? And again, you know, I truly believe that if you watch the fight, ignore the commentators and but keep the sound on. It's very important that you try to listen to those punches if you're going to try to score the fight. If you're really serious about, you want to score the fight and then discuss it afterwards, listen to the punches. Watch the fight with the sound on. Don't turn it off. You're taking one of your senses away, and then your opinion doesn't really mean shit because um, it's it's there's already something taken away. There's something that you didn't notice. You didn't notice you took off one of your senses. It's just, it's just not a good idea. You're not going to get a clean perspective of what's happening. I mean, in the end, you want to try to get as close to the fight as possible. There's a reason why the judges are front row. All right? So this is Aztec 101 in the ring, and I'm out.